All right, welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Death Howl, or to go by its full name, Death Howl, a Souls-like deck builder. Let me run you by that again. A Souls-like deck builder. Yeah, not a rogue-like deck builder, a Souls-like deck builder. So we got something different this time around. Um, but before that, some details about the game itself. Master the grid, defy death, enter a grim spirit realm in this open world deck builder. Craft lethal decks from 160 plus cards, claim powerful totems, and defeat foes in tactical grid combat. Fight as the desperate hunter Ro to bring back her son from beyond the veil. Now, I'm sure the first question that's going to come to mind here is, what makes this Souls-like? And the answer isn't going to be very apparent at first glance. Because people tend to when they think like Dark Souls, they're going to go extreme difficulty and the combat. The actual answer is the bonfires. Mm-hmm. This game has a bonfires system, and that's set up kind of like Dark Souls. I say kind of because they don't have the Eustace flask or
Estus.
I'm not Ustis? Estus, there we go. I was trying to figure out how that was pronounced. The point is, yeah, you don't have the flask that refills your health. And that's actually the major part of the metagame. Because when you get into battle, like
so
all
what are
the
they, just save points / possibly fast travel / where you level up?
Yes, plus sanctuary, because let me detail the major component here of the metagame. You don't refill your health after battle. You and barring some healing cards or some let's say circumstances on the field itself, you can't heal. So that's what you got to center your game around. Not just this battle, but the next battle, and the next battle, and the next battle, until you reach the next bonfire. Now, obviously, in the starting area here, it's not going to be anything too difficult, at least on the required path. I will say, going for the extra spirit orbs, or whatever they call them, they are the things that what go into your tech tree. But going for those are those are the difficult fights here. Those are the fights where you're fighting against 4 monsters, which can rip you to shreds pretty easily. Those are the ones I hadn't quite figured out. And as I understand it, you will get more, not necessarily powerful. Powerful is in the cards. You will get more health as the game goes on, because you start out with the 20 hit points. And you've got to calculate around what you have in that next battle. As in, do you have 19 health or do you have 9? And yeah, that makes a world of difference. Now, how Souls-like is that? I can see what they were going for here. Like, okay, yeah, that's an overall component of the Soul experience, but it's just that, a component. But I suppose that's kind of what they had to go with in terms of making this a Souls-like deck builder. That, and, punishing difficulty. Because, trying to do the combat of Dark Souls in a card game setting, that's just not something that was going to happen. Now, as far as how this game doles out as a tactical strategy type of game, pretty typical. It's a pretty typical tactical fare. Thankfully, it does take into account movement. Movement is actually one of the more important things to keep track of. Not just for you, but your enemies. Because, like, if you move enough, the enemy won't be able to attack, or will do a different maneuver, that kind of thing. It is part of the overall stratagem. As far as it goes in terms of a deck builder, well, it's a deck builder. It's kind of hard to rate it on, say, balance, since I did not get through too much of the game. I got to about the part where it opened up. But anyway, it's a card game. You build your deck. You've got a deck of 20, and you've got to, you do get a number of offensive, defensive, movement cards, some doubles. You won't have 20 cards to start. You will have to craft some cards. After every fight, you will get objects of spiritual origin, I suppose. They're like the remnants of the spirits. Like, when you kill the boars, you'll get their noses, their snouts. When you kill the bird heads, you get their feathers. And so on and so forth. And you will take those and combine it with the death howls, the blue things that you also get after battle, and you will make new cards. And yeah, you've also got your starting position. Like I said, as a tactical strategy game, it's fine. As a card game, it's fine. It really is that meta Souls-like flavoring that makes this game. That and the art style. It's very stark. It's very beautiful. Very folksy. Very Scandinavian. And yeah, that's about it, honestly. Personally, I respect the game. I didn't really like it. Like, honestly, this just wasn't my flavor of tactical game. I think I might be still a bit burnt out on deck builders. But at least it's not another fucking roguelike deck builder. I can honestly say I'm thoroughly sick of that combination. And to it, there is no randomness here. There's no, all the battles are pre-planned. In fact, they show up on your map. All the level design is actual design. Like, it was all handcrafted, all placed there, no procedural generation. So I can doubly respect that as well. Just didn't really gel with the game. Sometimes that happens. And I have a feeling this game probably would have gotten a lot more recognition had last year not been such a really, really good year on the indie circuit.
Mm. Well, apparently,
You
friend
know,
of the show, Pirate Software, did a like stream/video on it. I think that what's going up this week because he did a
yeah,
project he called In December,
yeah. I
and
also
apparently he
saw,
really liked it.
yeah, I also saw about the same thing from Second Wind. They did a video on this, and I didn't watch it too much, but they, I think they called it like a hidden gem, undiscovered gem, something like that.
Yeah,
Um, so, and it absolutely is. Like I said, I can recognize the game quality, even though it wasn't my cup of tea.
yeah.
You
Like
know,
there's a lot of games we've had like that where
yeah.
you could definitely recommend this to somebody who likes the deck building genre,
Hmm.
but
And
like both you and I are pretty fatigued by it because how many did you have turned down last year?
I don't know. Like we get so many deck builders. We get so many roguelike games. We get so many roguelike deck builders.
Yeah,
So that this being a Souls-like deck builder is such a breath of fresh air. But on the other hand, because it's a Souls-like deck builder, it's a very bitter flavor.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's like my tongue didn't really take to it. Anyway, it is worth noting, if you want to try before you buy, there is a demo of this game on Steam. Um, and it also runs you $20. Um, I think $20 is a fair enough price, given the circumstances. It's just, I would play the demo first to make sure you like this kind of game, or this particular mixing of trends. In
Mm-hmm.
terms of DLC, original soundtrack, and art book, and relics, various fluff for $5.98. That's sure, I guess. I got to admit, the music wasn't exactly um, notable. Like, it was fine, but it was kind of one of the, not ambient, but mood pieces that fix the game and not really outside the game kind of deals. I get the art book, though. Like, the art's really good. Yeah. And yeah, I suppose that'll about do it for this installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. So, coming up on the week ahead, let me see. So, coming up on January 14th, Wednesday, we'll be having. It's a very foreign name, so brace yourselves. Chingits Nasiri of Intree Games. That's ENT-RE Games. So they are fluent enough in English to make a pun. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyway, we will be talking about their upcoming game, Bug Alliance. Bug Alliance is a top-down action roguelike where every level reshapes your build. Trigger synergies, conquer 20 wave maps with boss finales, unlock a 13-chapter story on higher difficulties, then dive into Chaos Surge with endless bosses, curses, and risky rewards. And we do have a Friday show planned, and unlike last week, yes, they have confirmed. So on Friday, we will be January 16th. We will be welcoming Leve Gerard of Phantomata. And we will be talking about the Asphala series, which currently consists of 2 games. They are adventure games geared towards a young audience, if I'm remembering. Like, I don't want to say 2 to 11, like maybe 6 to 11, but it's also one of these all ages things where they do have humor for the adults if they play through it. Anyway, currently out now are Estfala, the Cranky Volcano, and Estfala, the Panic at the Mountain. So we'll be talking about those along with a potential third chapter, I guess, on Friday. And we also do have a new episode of MSP planned. So until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.